Now on Denver 7 News at 6, the Arvada community grappling with another tragedy, a young officer killed in the line of duty.
I'm Veronica Acosta, outside of the Arvada Police Department headquarters, where there's a growing memorial this morning for Officer Dylan Vakoff, how he's being remembered.
And wake up, Broncos country.
Let's go, Broncos!
It's game day.
It's going to be exciting.
WrestleMania is at a fever pitch, and our new quarterback is ready to show fans what he's got against his old team.
My focus is going to be on joy. My focus is going to be on my teammates and us playing our best football that we can possibly play against a really good football team.
We have team coverage from Seattle ahead of Monday Night Football right here on Denver 7.
Hey, check out the sunrise over Denver from our Empower Field camera. Yeah. Kind of yellow, maybe depending on what camera you're looking at.
That's
it's kind of orange. I see a little orange right there in the right corner. Okay, even if it wasn't a Broncos sunrise today, we have plenty of orange inside here.
It's a good omen.
Yes. Yeah. Denver Mayor Michael Hancock declared today Wear Orange Day.
Yeah.
So you got to do it, right?
Yeah, and you know where there's a lot of orange is in Seattle.
Oh,
a lot of Broncos fans
sure.
made the trek, so we're going to be hearing from our crew in Seattle ahead of tonight's Monday Night Football game. Big day. The roads have actually eased up a little bit.
Oh, man, it was super busy early, and now all of a sudden everything's going pretty well. So
all right.
Another good omen.
Fingers crossed. Denver felt like Seattle just a couple days ago, and now we're kind of bouncing back. It's really nice right now.
It was a nice change. A little of everything this weekend. I actually do have the Broncos sunrise for you. You ready here?
There it is.
That's blue and orange.
Fort Morgan,
Yeah, you get up across northeastern Colorado, look off to the east, and that's what you're going to see this morning. Beautiful start to our day. I'll have your game day forecast coming up here in just a bit, but let's get you out the door on this Monday morning. We're in the 40s and 50s. It is a little chilly out there early on. Denver's going to be in the mid 50s here by about 8 o'clock. A good 10 degrees warmer by 9. It is going to warm up pretty fast. We'll be in the low 80s by noon, and we'll hit highs in the upper 80s here this afternoon. Denver 88, Highlands Ranch 87, a touch cooler there in Castle Rock at 82, and then more 70s for the mountains and foothills. So a beautiful afternoon. We are still looking at some warmer than average conditions here on our 10-day forecast, but a nice change on the way as all of this shifts east. Cooler than average weather where we need it. It's been so hot out on the West Coast. We'll take a closer look at our Super 7-Day coming up.
And we still have some trouble spots here and there. We also have some trouble with the RTD system. Not only did we have a power outage affecting the W line early this morning, there's been a lot of trains and buses affected by no operator available, no bus drivers here this morning. So check with RTD before you head out. Right now we do have a situation over here at Central Park where DPD is investigating this crash where somebody was hit by a vehicle over here on I-70 by Central Park. Air Tracker 7's over it now, and you can see the Denver police officers here. The lanes are open on I-70 as well as from Central Park, so they're over here in that grassy area, so not causing any traffic delays, but obviously watch out for those folks as they do this investigation. I have no other information about how that person is doing who was hit. The rest of the drive out there looks okay. We also have one crash down here on the east side of town on Mississippi. It's just about all cleaned up right there at 225.
Well, Arvada's water tower was lit in blue overnight to honor a police officer killed in the line of duty early Sunday morning.
A 27-year-old officer, Dylan Vakoff, was responding to a disturbance call and got into a shootout with the man who ended up killing him. That man was also shot and was taken to the hospital but should survive. Another woman was also shot but survived. It's unclear exactly how all of this started or who was involved here.
However, it is the second Arvada police officer killed in a little more than a year. Gordon Beasley was killed last summer. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta joins us outside the police station this morning. Obviously a growing memorial for this young police officer who was also an Arvada native.
Yeah, and it's early this morning, just a few minutes after 6, and already at least one person has stopped by to drop off a note for Officer Dylan Vakoff. You can see the memorial behind me only growing bigger and bigger, much more so than it was yesterday. Police officers inside of the actual building here also walking out every now and then, taking a look at all the mementos that so many people have left behind. Officer Dylan Vakoff, only 27 years old. He'd only been with Arvada PD for 3 years. A local Arvada guy, like you mentioned, he actually went to high school right here over at Ralston Valley. You can imagine just how many people in this community knew him, how many showed up for him yesterday. That's obvious in the amount of flowers that were left here. Among them, an old classmate actually came by as well, who spoke the world of Officer Vakoff.
Dylan was always somebody who
when the strangest, most devastating things happened in our lives, he always found a way to look at the bright side. And I think that's what he would want us to do here.
For Officer Vakoff, his mission didn't stop at just being an officer with Arvada PD. He was actually training to be a part of SWAT as well. Before that, he was a staff sergeant in the Air Force. He was a son, a friend, and the half-brother to a man we spoke with who told us he never got to meet Dylan, but every time they spoke, it was kind and uplifting. He said he appreciates him and everything he did now more than ever.
I just appreciate his service so much. I know it's hard to go out there and face a lot of the stuff that, you know, is going on these days and whatever. It could be scary. But I really appreciate everything. Even the text and everything, to at least be able to get to communicate with him was awesome.
And Arvada PD says Officer Vakoff's sacrifice, of course, will never be forgotten. And for anyone who's watching this morning, if you want to come by and pay your respects to Officer Vakoff at this vehicle, at the memorial itself, just know it's outside of Arvada PD headquarters. We're live in Arvada this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Yeah, so connected to the community, well-loved and well-known, being an Arvada native. There is an official website to make a donation in Officer Dylan Vakoff's memory. We have a link to it right now on Denver7.com. Well, switching gears because it is a big day for Broncos country. The regular season kicks off today in extraordinary fashion. Monday Night Football, Russell Wilson against his former team.
Oh, yeah. You couldn't write a better anticipation here. We're checking in with Broncos insider Troy Rank in just a moment. We want to start, though, with Denver 7's Jason Grenauer because, Jason, there are some loud and proud Broncos fans in the Emerald City there.
Yes, and as my colleague and compatriot Troy Rank usually says in times like this, it doesn't just feel early, it is early. Just after 5 a.m. Pacific time, still quite quiet here outside of Lumen Field. It will be the total opposite because we have a football game to be played here in just over 12 hours or so. But as you mentioned, they call it Broncos country for a reason because fans not only made the trip, but there's a pretty good cohort of fans already here in Seattle. Take a look at this video from yesterday. The Denver Broncos Fans of Seattle group held this photo op. This was at the base of the iconic Seattle Space Needle, and it was visiting fans. It was Seattle fans who still support the Broncos, and Miles, the mascot, even showed up. This was kind of the first big taste of the excitement ahead of Monday Night Football, and we spoke to several of those fans. Take a listen.
A lot of us, so this is a community that there's a lot of people that just grew up as Bronco fans. There's people that are from Denver.
Let's ride! We've been out here for 4 years, but we'll always be diehard Bronco fans.
Always bleed orange and blue. Go Broncos!
Go Broncos always!
It just grew and grew and grew. We just kept outgrowing different bars and meetups, you know, and then it's turned into this. We have like almost 3,000 people in our DBFS, Denver Broncos Fans of Seattle thing going on.
Bronco baby, let's ride!
And here is the end result, that photo, Broncos country there at the base of the Space Needle. That Denver Bronco Fans of Seattle group expects many more Bronco fans to be here at the stadium a little bit later on tonight for Monday Night Football. But after that picture was taken, fans then gathered for what they called an Orange Herd rally, and the team actually sent some surprise guests to meet up with Broncos fans. We will have that for you coming up in our next half hour. For now, reporting live from a still dark, still sleepy Seattle. I'm sure things will change. I'm Jason Grenauer, Denver 7.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be loud at Lumen Field tonight, but hopefully the Broncos fans will counter the 12th man of the Seahawks. Thank you, Jason. We'll talk to you here in just a bit. Of course, the big question tonight is, how will Russell Wilson do?
Yeah, we know he has been ready to play since the schedule first came out back in May. Our Broncos insider Troy Rank continues our team coverage.
WrestleMania has arrived. Finally, the long-anticipated debut of Russell Wilson for the Denver Broncos will happen tonight against the Seahawks at Lumen Field. You know what? I think Russell Wilson's going to play well. He's 10-3 on Monday night. He's undefeated in his last 3 openers with 10 touchdowns and no interceptions. As for his teammates, Broncos haven't exactly played a lot of meaningful games the last 6 years, but Russell Wilson will help calm them, be a soothing presence, and he's remained diplomatic this week amid controversy.
I don't worry about all that stuff. I mean, people, have opinions and thoughts and ideas, and everybody has their own right to think what they want to think. You know, I know how the whole thing went and how it transpired and just the whole situation, but also at the same time too, I know that you know, I every second of it I've enjoyed, you know, in terms of being there and just trying to give my all every day. You know, that's all I know. I believe in my talent, who I am. You know, I believe I'm one of the best in the world. I don't worry about anything else other than that. At the end of the day, you still got to get prepared the same way you always get prepared. And I think that when you get outside of that realm and start thinking about everything else, or start, you know, detailing this or detailing that, or trying to worry about this and worry about that, you're wasting time. You know, I don't think winners don't waste time on things that have nothing to do with the game. It'll definitely be an experience I've never experienced before, but it'll also be an experience that I'm going to enjoy the journey of it all. You know, my focus is going to be on joy. My focus is going to be on my teammates and us playing our best football that we can possibly play against a really good football team.
I talked to a source last night about Russell Wilson. He said he's in a good place. He's really ready for this game. He's not too anxious, not too eager. Why would he be? Russell Wilson, 19-4 in primetime games. Reporting from Seattle, Troy Rank, Denver 7.
Yeah, some players just rise to the occasion on a stage like this. Well, Colorado has become one of the top states in the nation for sports betting. Last September, sportsbooks here handled $408 million in wagers, with about 40% of that on football games. But a local sports handicapper says to be cautious early in the season because there are a lot of unknowns right now, especially with the Broncos and their new staff. The Broncos are 6.5-point favorites in Seattle, but while the offense will likely improve behind Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett, Bob Stoll of DrBobSports.com thinks the defense will be slightly worse without the mind of Vic Fangio. So he predicts more total points scored than the over-under in Broncos games. And I asked him specifically about Russell Wilson prop bets. He thinks Russ will surpass his projected passing yards and touchdowns for the season.
Russell Wilson's at, I think his over-under on touchdown passes is 31, around there, and 4,000 passing yards. Those are pretty much in line with his per game averages over the course of his career. But I think they're going to throw more than they, at Denver than they did in Seattle. I mean,
yeah, so if you're betting, he says the average bettor wins 49.7% of their bets. Now, that's less than a coin flip, keep in mind. You do have to win 52.4% of your bets to even just break even. So he suggests just write down your bets, see how many you actually win. His computer model has the Broncos winning 9.5 games this year, so expect a 9-8 or 10-7 record depending on how the chips fall. We, of course, hope they overperform.
Yes.
Yeah. And you can see how those bets play out right here on Denver 7 tonight. Monday Night Football coverage starts at 5 p.m. here on Denver 7. Kickoff at 6:15, and then stick around for our post-game show.
Well, it's a big week for Twitter. The two events happening tomorrow that could shape the future of the social media giant.
And Francis is 92, Paul is 90. They've been married for decades, and together they say the secret to a happy marriage is... You can go to commercial really quickly so I don't give away the fact that it's Broncos related. I want to save that. Thank you.